Hi, everyone. This is Nuzayra and Rah. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to be talking about Web3, NFTs, AI, and all the fun stuff. I am an IP attorney. I work with NFT and Web3 creators on their brand and content protection. And Rah over here is a creative pioneer, and I'm going to let him do his introduction.
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Rah Crawford. I'm a creative pioneer and a visual artist. Branding, creative strategy, systems thinking, process, and all things visual art. I'm a creative consultant. So that's kind of what I'm doing in this space. And as Nuzayra said, today we're going to be talking about AI. It's a really hot topic right now. And I think, so what do you think about AI, Nuzayra? What's your personal take and feelings about it?
To be very honest, I like it. I like anything that makes life easy for human beings. I know that there is a lot of talk about whether or not AI is going to replace jobs and it's going to, maybe make some people's skills kind of redundant because AI is doing a lot of things. But I necessarily don't see it that way. I think, as human beings, we're always fearful of things that we don't understand fully. And artificial intelligence or AI is something like that. I think personally that yes, there is a possibility for it to probably get rid of some type of tasks or skills. But at the same time, the way I look at it is that it's making people's lives easier by making things more efficient. So AI by itself it's been designed by human beings, and AI can't run on its own. You will need human beings to make it run, to develop it further, to make it smarter. So if anything, I like to see this as an opportunity for people from different professions to use to just make their business and their life more efficient and easier. What about you, Ra? How do you feel about AI?
Hmm. Well, AI is very interesting. I agree with it. It makes some things efficient. I think what's happening it's now that it's being released out into the world, right? And it's completely changing art. 'Cause, like if you look at like society, human
Yeah.
evolution, there was a period where art was like the sacred ground, right? That's what really separated us. The arts are the thing that made us different from apes, in the evolutionary process, right?
That's
That's the
true.
difference. Without you take away our culture and our art that we create, we would just be basic beasts.
Yeah.
And so I think seeing it's AI technology, and I'm a visual artist. I'm self-taught. I started from drawing to like learning how to do acrylics and learning how to do oils and all of that process. And it took years to develop that and to work with these and to master those skills. And now to see this technology that you can produce that kind of work, like there's no point. It's amazing. It's really amazing. So I have mixed feelings about it. I think that we definitely live in a world where we want everything quick and easy, right? So I was having a conversation with someone in the entertainment industry, and he was saying
Mhm.
how they need visual mock-ups and artwork for the kind of work that they produce, and he's like, oh well, now you just have an AI generator create those things with storyboards, but previously there were whole art agencies and there were artists that were like working at their drafting tables, learning the ability to draw a chin or a forehead or a finger pointed in the right direction
Mm.
or a head turn, all those things. Now it's not even necessary. So it's trippy. It's kind of like the things that we give up for convenience. Um, and so, good or bad, what comes with that? And there's even AI now generating music. So TBD, what the
Yeah.
results are going to be for this. And I think as humans, we do champion humans. So I think there's probably going to be a divide. You're going to have your radical pro-human folks that's like,
Yeah.
against AI completely. Then you have the other side, So I think we'll land somewhere in the middle as we typically do with these kind of things. Um,
Yeah.
but it's interesting for sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I like what you said about art, that, it is actually what separates us from the rest of the animal kingdom. The fact that, we have the ability to imagine and then bring that imagination to life. And with AI stepping in and just creating things in a matter of seconds that would take humans hours, months sometimes to make, it is not the best situation to be in as far as artists are concerned. And I know like a lot of artists feel that way. And I'm kind of on the same boat as far as art is concerned. There is AI generated art, but there is value in something being made from scratch by a human being. I think there is, inherent value in that. And you're right that, people could go two separate ways. Like one group could be very pro-human where they just don't like AI at all. And there could be another group where they feel like, no, AI should be the forefront of everything. It doesn't matter who it replaces. And I feel like I am kind of in the middle of that. I would like to think that AI works as a tool, just like, when calculators first came out, there was a lot of, anxiety surrounding calculators. A lot of people thought that, okay, this is going to put accountants out of business. Maybe, why do you need accountants now that you have this device that can calculate things? But it just made lives easier for accountants and everyone else. It's just a tool you use. And I feel that we have to strike a balance with AI where you can use it as a tool to make things faster, more efficient, even for artists, but not use it in a way where you can replace actual human beings. And I think we're going to hit a point where people see that, what? AI is still just working off of what's already out there. It can't create it can't create anything that doesn't already exist. So that whole area, I think it still belongs to human beings, where it's in your mind, you've thought of it, you've imagined it, and you're the only one that can bring it to life. And then, yes, an AI can take it and tweak it and make it into something else, but then you're still the original creator.
Yeah, and I think the things that, and this would be in your field, that things are popping up legally, are the fact that these, AI generating creations are pulling from, current artwork. They're pulling from the artwork that artists have spent years developing techniques and styles, and it's kind of reconfiguring things. So there's a lot of lawsuits with Microsoft and a lot of these other platforms right now where they're suing them, they're attempting to sue them. So it's going to be really, really important cases, once these rulings come out, because it's going to affect the technology, it's going to affect how it shows up in the real world, it's going to affect rights as a whole. And I think personally, as an artist, there is something to that, right? So if this AI generator is learning from your artwork and everyone else's, and then it's reinterpreting that, then it can be argued, I guess, like any case can be argued in different ways, right? But it's the same way for artists, right? We live in current pop culture. Art is just copycat art, right? You take something from the past and you reinterpret it, Again, I won't mention any artist names. It's not about that. But you take Mickey Mouse, right? You add an extra ear, you change a finger, you put him in some vulgar pose and slap your name on as an artist. That's that's what humans are doing. So, and they're getting away with it. But if AI does it, so it's not to be accepted. So what do you think legally about that? The AI pulling from current copyrighted established artists' work and reinterpreting it. Is there a legal case in that? Do you have a case?
Well, yeah, it's a gray area. And I think that AI right now is largely unregulated, just like any new technology is when it first comes out. And all these cases that's happening and all of these questions that are being raised, it's going to force lawmakers to say that, hey, you know what, we need to probably set regulations and laws which will help AI creators. So, big corporations like Google, Microsoft, Apple, the big ones that will actually come up with AI technology are Silicon Valley companies. That, okay, this is what you can do and this is what you cannot do. Because as you mentioned, right now, what artificial intelligence can do is basically scan through the universe and find data that's already there. And they basically learn. One of my good friends, he's a data scientist at Amazon, and he uses this term called machine learning, which he explained to me what it was, and I found it fascinating. And that's, in a way, is what AI would do. It learns from what already exists. Now, a lot of what already exists has been created by someone else, so it's content that belongs to someone else, and there's proprietary rights associated with it. There's copyrights associated with it. And under general copyright laws, you cannot just take someone's work where they have proprietary interest and then create derivatives out of it and start saying, this is mine. The copyright law as it stands today, the US copyright law, that they're black and white, they're just going to say, okay, that's copyright violation. You can't do that. With AI, now that line is kind of getting blurred. But if you look at the basics, it's still the same. If you're taking someone else's work, doesn't matter if you are doing it as a human being or you're using a tool such as artificial intelligence and you're taking someone else's work. And like you said, like take Mickey Mouse, add another ear on that Mickey Mouse, make it a zombie Mickey Mouse, and
that
start
exists.
selling it.
That currently exists.
But yeah, if you do that, you're still violating people's copyright, and that shouldn't be allowed because a person cannot get away with that. So why should an AI tool, which by the way is being controlled by a person or by a company, they can't really get away with that. So as far as the legality is concerned, it's a matter of being cautious. There's a lot of hoopla about using AI-generated articles, AI-generated art, and people are wondering, like, okay, is it legal? Can I use it? Take it with a grain of salt. This is something that you can compare to using stock images that you find on the internet. So a lot of the times artists will, or graphic artists will find stock images on the internet and think, okay, this is fine, this is a stock image, and they use it in their work. And then a couple of months down the road, they get a cease and desist notice from a law firm saying, you use our client's image without permission, even though it was listed as a stock image. And when a situation like that arises, my advice to our graphic artists are always like, okay, where are you getting that stock image from? They must have a terms of use. Go through that terms of use and see what it says about the stock image. Do they have licensing rights where they can give you the permission to use that artwork? If the answer, it doesn't say anything, it probably means that they don't have the rights and that stock image is there for you to view and not to use. So if you're using that image, you're going to get into trouble. It's the same with AI. If you are going to be using materials created or generated by artificial intelligence, there's going to be people who take that as a kind of like an opportunity to come after you because AI itself is using work that someone else created. Now, this AI has created work for you, but that company that runs this AI, did they give you the permission to use that work for your own commercial use? If it's not a clear yes, they have, and this is what it says in their terms of use, then don't do it. Because this is creating a pathway for a floodgate of lawsuits to come through, or a floodgate of cease and desist letters to come through saying you used our client's work without permission. So it's not as simple as just because AI is making something and it looks like it's free, that it's actually free to use. If you're not paying for it upfront now, you might be paying for it a few months later if someone sees that as an opportunity and wants to come after you.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That's a really good point. And I think about, just AI in general supporting us in what it is that we do and what we lose in the process. Say, for example, if it's a calculator, the idea to quickly count or to, devise numbers in your head. If it's writing, the ability to craft a sentence. And I think about, art and AI and writing and problem solving for us. Where will we be in the end? If everyone is an artist, then is no one an artist? I think it's like from Incredibles, when everyone's super, is no one super? But I will say on the AI end that it is absolutely amazing because I've put in those prompts and it seems like, flash forward to the future, it'll be about the prompts, right? Keeping your prompt secret and kind of explaining what prompts are. You have a space where you can put in what it is that you want that AI to generate for you. For example, woman with red hair, roller skating, holding a red balloon. So that's a prompt. So that exact phrase, almost like a seed phrase, right? From a digital wallet. So if you put that prompt in and the AI produces a certain type of image, you say, hey, I like that style. You can change red balloon to blue balloon, green balloon. And with that prompt, you can have a certain style generated. And once you get your prompts, you can develop a certain AI style, which can be unique to you. And so I saw a couple of things on Twitter about people saying, like keeping your prompts secret. So it's going to be interesting seeing the conversation also evolve around prompts. And when you get to that, could you potentially copyright your prompts, or trademark the prompts that you use so no one else can use those prompts. So we're definitely going to an interesting space with this. As far
Yeah.
as on the creative consultant side, I still see a place for humans, because even if you can sit down and have this amazing, beautiful artwork generated, how you're using it and how you're applying it and what is the strategy and use case, you still need some kind of thought on that, right? And have to develop some kind of plan or system. So I don't necessarily see my a job fading away in that sense. But I enjoy creating some things with AI, and it's amazing, from an artistic standpoint, that these like very subtle imperfections that we even have on our own faces, right? Because our faces aren't symmetrical. And as an artist, suppose you might drag the brush too long, or the blend might be a little bit off on the left side than the right. Those kind of imperfections are actually planted into the AI as well. So the work some of the work looks really amazing. It's incredible how some of these things are
Yeah.
generated, that I'm I'm really impressed by a lot of these, for sure. Do you have any like favorite AI generators or anything that you've come across? Have you got a chance to actually experiment with some of this?
Okay, I think the one that everyone mostly talks about and a lot of lawyers are actually using that right now is ChatGPT. So that one, I haven't personally used it, but just for kicks, my husband and I, we got ChatGPT and we said, can you, because this is something I have to repeat constantly to everyone when I'm, talking to them about their trademarks, is the trademark process. And the process explaining it every time, I thought, let's see if ChatGPT can do a good job of just breaking it down. So I said, hey, explain the trademark examination process. And it actually did. It broke it down and it gave like 1, 2, 3, 4. And I didn't really use it, but I was looking at it and I was like, you know what? This is really great, because if I can give this to my team and tell them that, okay, they've done a basic job of breaking it down, but now just you go flesh it out, add some things to it, but use that as a template. That would be so great. So I think like for lawyers, Chat GPT is super popular. That's the one that I've used. Well, not used professionally, but I've toyed with it. What about you? You have a favorite one?
Mm, Dream, I've experimented with that one. There's a couple of them. I mean, I was actually doing some scanning, like the top, ones that they have for like Jasper Art, Story AI,
Hmm.
Dream by Wombo. I really like Dream, Night Cafe, Dolly, Pixray, and the list goes on and on. There's a lot. I would say if anyone wants to, try it, yeah, try it, experiment with it,
Yeah.
just to have some fun, throwing a whole bunch of different prompts.
Yeah.
I think it's trending right now, so you're going to see a lot of people creating with those. And I think in general, like we all have different ways that we kind of engage and experience the world. I think creative people tend to like hyper create. That is what they do. And I think
Hmm.
other people may experiment and kind of have fun, but they might not necessarily be called to continually paint or
Yeah.
create or write songs. So I think, we need everybody doing all types of things. I personally don't know about a lot about law and studying it, but I'm so glad you do what you do to share that knowledge and information. So I think if we all, are suited up and have our capes and kind of stay heads down on our work, but still experiment and stay inspired, I think the world could be a
Yeah,
beautiful place.
I agree. I absolutely agree that, just try it, experiment with it, have fun with it. Sometimes, like, you get ideas in the strangest places. Like, maybe working with AI is just gonna, click something in your brain, and you might be like, okay, I can actually use this, but in a different way and make it much better. So, yeah, I mean, this was great. I had fun talking about AI. I know that there's going to be more conversations about this as AI evolves.
Absolutely.